It had been 5 years since my husband, Noah, had come back to me. We were visiting my father's grave. On our way out of the cemetery, we ran into Clara, the woman who had destroyed our relationship and killed my dad. She was huddled in the biting wind, clutching a few bouquets of white chrysanthemums, trying to sell them to passers-by. Noah paused for a fraction of a second, then took my hand and led me away as if nothing had happened. But halfway home, he suddenly claimed he'd left something behind at the cemetery. He insisted it was too cold for me to wait, that he'd go back alone. I followed him. I watched as he impatiently unlocked a city bike and pedaled so fast it looked like sparks were flying. I watched as he sprinted toward that hunched, pathetic figure. I watched as he took off the brand new cashmere coat I had just bought him and wrapped it tightly around her shoulders. A long-lost reunion. They kissed with a desperate, fiery passion, as if trying to merge into one person. In that moment, I knew. A leopard can't change its spots. The marriage my father had paid for with his life was finally over. It was the coldest day of the year in Chicago. I guess when you're in enough pain, you just go numb. My phone vibrated in my pocket. A text from Noah. Found it. Be right back. I stared at the two figures clinging to each other in the distance. No rush. I bought us some hot chocolate. I'll wait in the car. I hit send, then looked up to enjoy the dramatic performance of a long-lost, tragic love story unfolding before me. Noah, I knew you'd come. His voice was hoarse as he gently wiped the tears from her eyes. You're so thin. Clara's tears fell even faster. These past 5 years, I've thought about you every single day. Noah pulled out a credit card and pressed it into her hand. Don't be so stubborn. If you need anything, just call me. Noah, you're the only thing I care about. I tried to forget you, but I couldn't. She looked up at him, her eyes glistening. What about you? Didn't you miss me at all? The wind was howling, whipping her hair around her face. Noah stared at her for a long 3 seconds, then bent down and crushed his lips against hers. His fingers tangled in her hair, her arms wrapped around his neck. 5 years ago, I would have stormed over there and slapped them both. But now, I just quietly turned and walked away. I didn't want to make a scene at my father's grave. I didn't want to disturb his peace. When Noah got back to the car, he was holding a small, woven good luck charm. My dad had gotten one for each of us. I handed him the hot chocolate. Your ears are so red. You must be freezing. I'm so sorry. I couldn't tell if his apology was for making me wait or for cheating on me again. Did anyone see you when you went back? His eyes darted away. It was too cold. The cemetery was empty. The drive back was silent. I closed my eyes, pretending to nap, but I could see the corner of his mouth twitching into an unconscious smile. It was an expression I hadn't seen in 5 years. Alive, vibrant, filled with a joy he couldn't contain. In the 5 years since my father's death, Noah had always been somber and careful around me. What everyone thought was a happy ending was really just two people living in a loveless, icy truce. We got out of the car and walked into the house, one after the other. Clara. Noah froze, the slippers he was holding suspended in midair. Hearing her name, a surge of rage washed over me. A sharp crack echoed through the hallway as my hand connected with his cheek, the sound-activated light flickering on. Wake up, Noah. I'm Sarah. Not Clara. What? Did you just have to come rushing home to fuck her after your heartfelt reunion? His eyes were wide with disbelief. You saw? Sarah, let me explain. I stood there, waiting. He stammered for a moment, then hung his head in defeat. I'm sorry. I had heard those words enough for a lifetime. Every time he said them, it was just another reminder of his betrayal. I used to be naive enough to think that if Clara just disappeared, we could go back to the way we were. And now? All she had to do was stand there, and the fragile foundation of our marriage crumbled. Because of them, my father was dead. Because of them, I had wasted a decade of my life. Like the other shoe had finally dropped, a strange sense of calm washed over me. Noah, I want a divorce. His head snapped up. Then he rubbed his temples in frustration, turned on the light, and tossed his coat onto the couch. Sarah, you know I promised your father I would never divorce you. I was wrong to go see Clara. I know that. But she's been through enough. She went from being this bright, promising student to selling flowers on the street. I just felt guilty and wanted to help her out. I won't see her again. I looked up at the man in front of me. We had spent 20 years together, but he felt like a complete stranger. What about me? Haven't I been through enough? How are you going to compensate me? After my mom died, my dad took me with him to a remote, underprivileged community where he taught. That's where I met Noah. His mother had been abandoned while pregnant, and after he was born, she left him with his elderly grandmother. My dad took a liking to the quiet, hard-working boy. One night, he showed up at our door in the pouring rain. His grandmother had passed away, and his aunt had kicked him out to sell the house. He was covered in mud, kneeling on the ground, begging my dad to take him in. He swore he would do anything to repay him. My dad was hesitant, but I walked over and took his hand. Dad, please let him stay. And just like that, Noah became a part of our family. He was responsible and diligent. When my dad was busy with work, he was the one who took care of me. He did the laundry, cooked, and even learned how to braid my hair in different styles. I followed him everywhere. When he was in class, I would play outside the classroom, where I could see him. When he did his homework, I would sit quietly beside him, dozing or folding paper cranes. One time, when my dad was away on a trip, I came down with a high fever in the middle of the night. Noah, just a boy himself, carried me on his back through the dark, treacherous paths to the town doctor. I was fine, but he got a deep gash on his foot that took 3 months to heal. When I got my first period, I thought I was dying. I was hysterical, and it was Noah who, blushing furiously, bought me pads and taught me how to use them. We were inseparable. When we were 20, he told me he loved me, and we started dating. At our college graduation, he proposed. He asked me to wait 3 years for him, until he had saved up enough for a proper wedding. I told him I didn't care about material things, but he insisted I have everything everyone else had. I waited 3 years, only to find out he had fallen in love with someone else. After graduation, Noah started his own business. My dad gave him his entire life savings to get him started. Clara was an intern at his company. She had also come from a poor, rural background, and Noah said she reminded him of himself, so he took special care of her. It wasn't until the week before our wedding that I found them in bed together in our new apartment. I couldn't believe the man who had loved me for over a decade could fall for someone else so easily. I was hysterical. I wanted to ruin them, to make them suffer. But then I saw my dad's cancer diagnosis, and all my anger turned to despair. I begged Noah, used my father's generosity as leverage, just to get him to go through with the wedding. That way, my dad could go abroad for treatment with peace of mind. Noah agreed, but he kept it from Clara. At our wedding reception, Clara, drunk and furious, drove her car straight toward us. My dad pushed me out of the way. As he lay dying, he put my hand in Noah's and made him promise to take care of me. Faced with universal condemnation, Noah finally came back to me. For a long time, I was consumed by guilt. I would wake up in the middle of the night, convinced that if I hadn't insisted on keeping Noah in our lives, my dad wouldn't have worked himself to death, wouldn't have gotten sick. If we hadn't both fallen in love with Noah, my dad would still be alive to see me get married and have children. I was trapped in a cycle of depression and self-harm. Noah would hold me, sobbing, repeating I'm sorry over and over again. Eventually, time dulled the pain, and our lives found a semblance of normalcy. But it was all a lie. He had never forgotten Clara. All he saw was her pity and her pain, and he was desperate to make it up to her. He was blind to the misery he had brought upon me and my father. In the darkness, I heard the soft click of the front door closing. I opened my eyes. Dad, I'm going to divorce him, I whispered. I hope you won't be mad at me. Unable to sleep, I went to the corner of the living room where my father's portrait stood. I gently traced the outline of his smiling face, a wave of grief washing over me. My vision blurred with tears, and I accidentally knocked the picture frame off the table. I'm sorry, I whispered, bending down to pick it up. The frame was shattered, and tucked behind the photo was a small, color print. I carefully pulled it out. It was a picture of Noah and Clara. The edges were soft and frayed, clearly from being handled often. I suddenly remembered all the times over the past 5 years that Noah had stood in front of this portrait. I had thought he was consumed by guilt, repenting to my father. Now I knew the truth. He wasn't looking at my dad. He was looking at the woman in the picture, her face radiant with a smile. He was looking at their stolen, secret moments of happiness. On the back of the photo, in Noah's handwriting, were 2 words. Noah and Clara, forever. The irony was suffocating. I was a fool, clinging to a marriage my father had bought with his life. And Noah? He was playing the part of the devoted husband while hiding a picture of his mistress behind my dead father's portrait. A wave of nausea washed over me. I ran to the bathroom and dry heaved until my stomach ached. I couldn't wait another second. I had to end this. The next morning, I met with a lawyer at a coffee shop. While I was waiting, the waitress brought me a cup of coffee and promptly slipped, spilling it all over me. Oh my God, I am so sorry, she said, though her eyes told a different story. I looked up into Clara's defiant gaze. How was your lonely night, Sarah? She sneered. Noah was with me. We were up very late. He said you're like a block of wood, totally boring for the past 5 years. I stared at her coldly. Did your mother not teach you any manners? Her smile faltered for a second, then returned. My mother taught me to fight for what I want. Sarah, did you really think your deadbeat dad could guilt-trip Noah into staying with you forever? My father's death was a wound that would never heal. What did you just say? Clara was relentless. Your deadbeat dad deserved to die. If it weren't for him sticking his nose where it didn't belong, Noah and I would have been together years ago. He used his pathetic life to trap Noah, to make him feel guilty for the rest of his life, to force him to marry you. Smack. I stood up and slapped her across the face. She clutched her cheek, her eyes wide with disbelief. You hit me? I slapped her again. Damn right I did. Clara, 5 years ago you killed my father, and now you're standing here insulting his memory. Do you really think you're above the law? Her eyes filled with venom. They didn't touch me 5 years ago, what are they going to do now? Noah will protect me. He wouldn't let me go to jail. Suddenly, her expression changed. She burst into tears and dropped to her knees in front of me. Sarah, it's all my fault. I never should have fallen in love with Noah. You've already won. This job is all I have left. Why won't you just leave me alone? Her outburst attracted the attention of the entire coffee shop. Wow, she's hitting her. She's on her knees, give her a break. Someone pulled out their phone and started recording. Clara was on the floor, sobbing hysterically. Please, Sarah, just let me go. Just then, Noah burst through the door and shoved me aside. I slammed into the corner of a table, the pain doubling me over. He gently helped Clara to her feet, tenderly touching the red handprint on her cheek. She threw herself into his arms, crying even harder. Noah, I was so scared. He turned to me, his eyes as cold as ice. Sarah, what is wrong with you? Look at yourself. You're acting like a shrew. I straightened up, ignoring the pain. Noah, she said my dad deserved to die. Do you agree with her? His eyes flickered. Clara sobbed. No, I just said it was an accident. And she just attacked me. Noah's gaze grew even colder. What happened was an accident. Can't you just let it go? Sarah, I'm the one who owes you and your father. I hope you'll leave Clara alone from now on. I married you. I've given you 5 years of my life. What more do you want? From now on, as long as you behave yourself, you'll always be Mrs. Archer. But don't ask about my personal life. That's the best I can do. That should be enough to repay your father for everything he did for me. With that, he wrapped his arm around Clara and walked out without a backward glance. After finalizing everything with my lawyer, it was already dark. As I rounded a corner, a pair of blinding headlights shone in my eyes. A screech of tires, a violent impact. I was thrown into the air, landing hard on the pavement. Every bone in my body felt like it had been shattered. Blood filled my throat. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. A dark figure appeared, backlit by the headlights. Stay away from people you shouldn't mess with. We killed your dad. We can kill you too. The footsteps faded. I lay on the cold ground, unable to move. My phone vibrated in my pocket. With a final burst of strength, I managed to answer it. Clara's seductive voice purred through the speaker. Noah, I miss you so much. Every cell in my body misses you. Noah's voice was hoarse. Clara, these past 5 years have been a living hell. Seeing you again is the only thing that's made me feel alive. A soft moan, the rustle of clothing. What about Sarah? You said she'd always be your wife. If her dad hadn't died so tragically, if she wasn't threatening to press charges, I would have left her years ago. Shoo, don't talk about her. I'm going to make love to you all night. The voices grew faint as darkness consumed me. When I regained consciousness, I was surrounded by a cacophony of voices. Internal bleeding, we need to operate immediately. Get her emergency contact. A nurse found my phone and dialed the first number in my contacts. It rang for a long time before someone picked up. Hello, this is the emergency room. Are you Ms. Reed's husband? She's been in a serious car accident. There's internal bleeding. We need to operate immediately. Please come to the hospital. Before she could finish, Noah cut her off impatiently. Sarah, couldn't you think of a better excuse than getting hit by a car? What? Wasn't your little drama this morning enough for you? Now you have to pull this stunt? The doctor was frantic. Sir, this is not a joke. The patient is in critical condition. We need a family member's signature. I could hear Clara's laughter in the background. Noah, who is it? Sarah. Says she's been in a car accident and is dying. Clara giggled. Well, then let her die. The doctor couldn't believe it. Sir, please be serious. The patient really needs surgery. Noah scoffed. Sarah, stop pretending. You're just trying to make me feel guilty. It's not going to work. If you really got hit by a car, then it's just your family's bad karma. You all deserve to get hit by cars and die out. Die out. My dad was gone. I had no siblings. If I died, my family line would end. The patient is in very critical condition. We've already called the police. Noah was unfazed. Sarah, if you die, then I hope you die quickly and get it over with. The line went dead. The doctor was holding the phone, his hand shaking with anger. Who said a dead heart can't feel pain? It still hurt. I'll sign it myself. I suddenly understood. In this world, no one could save me. Except myself. During my hospital stay, Noah never once came to visit. He took Clara to Iceland to see the northern lights, to the Maldives to walk on the beach. He was busy making up for 5 years of lost time. The day I was discharged, my lawyer sent me a text. Ms. Reed, the divorce papers have been filed. We've also obtained the traffic cam footage from your father's accident. The man who hit you has been arrested. He confessed that Clara hired him. I looked back at the house I had lived in for 5 years and signed the papers to sell it. Thank you for your help with this case, I replied. I don't want any settlement. I just want them to pay for what they've done. Noah, I'm going to take back everything my father ever gave you. One by one. While Noah was vacationing overseas, the company secretary tried to call him repeatedly. Noah was in the shower, so Clara took it upon herself to decline call after call. Eventually, she blocked the secretary's number. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that they finally returned. During their trip, Noah would often stare at his phone, lost in thought. In 20 years, Sarah had never gone this long without contacting him. She's probably still just mad, he told himself. He touched the diamond necklace he had bought for her in his pocket. Sarah had always depended on him, loved him more than life itself. Once he got back and apologized, she would forgive him, just like she had 5 years ago. Clara wrapped her arms around his, pouting. Noah, I've been out of the loop for so long. I can't find a decent job anywhere. Can I come work for you again? I'll do anything, even start at the bottom. I just want to be close to you. These past few weeks have been like a dream. I'm so scared I'll wake up and you'll be gone again, just like you were 5 years ago. Noah's heart softened. If it weren't for him, Clara would have graduated with honors, gotten a great job. Okay. How about you be my personal assistant? Clara was thrilled but tried to play it cool. Really? But what about Sarah? Won't she be mad? Maybe I shouldn't. I don't want to cause any trouble for you. Noah thought about how Sarah had no one else to rely on but him. He was confident. It's my company. I make the decisions. Don't worry about it. Clara, having gotten what she wanted, clung to him. Do we have to say goodbye tonight? I've gotten so used to sleeping with you next to me. I don't think I'll be able to sleep alone. Noah, of course, couldn't resist. They went back to the hotel together. While Clara was in the shower, Noah hesitated, then finally sent me a text. I've been on a business trip. I'll be back tomorrow. I, who usually replied instantly, was silent. A wave of unease washed over him. He was about to get up and head home, but Clara came up behind him and wrapped her arms around his waist. Another night of passion. The next day, it was well past noon before Noah and Clara finally headed to the office. But when they got there, the key card wouldn't work. Even the executive elevator wouldn't recognize his face. Noah cursed the building management under his breath and called his secretary. What's going on? The doors and the elevator won't let me in. The secretary's voice was trembling. Mr. Archer, you're finally answering. About the access, you'll have to ask your wife, Ms. Reed. Noah was confused, but the secretary hung up before he could ask anything else. Clara pouted. Honestly, Sarah is so childish. Is she really going to bring her tantrums to your company? She's so disrespectful. How are you supposed to lead your employees if she acts like this? Noah's anger flared. He pulled the diamond necklace out of his pocket and gave it to Clara. If she's going to be so immature, she doesn't deserve a gift. I don't believe this. I can't get into my own company. He put his arm around Clara and stormed up to the front entrance, shouting for someone to let them in. After a long wait, the person who came out was his old rival, Evan. Evan looked him up and down, a sneer on his face. Mr. Archer, what a surprise. If you wanted to visit my company, you should have made an appointment. Noah's face went cold. This is my company. What does it have to do with you? Please leave. You're not welcome here. Evan just smiled and pointed to the logo on the building. The Archer Industries sign had been replaced with Chin Enterprises. Evan pulled out his phone and showed him a financial news article from 2 weeks ago. Majority shareholder of Archer Industries sells shares at a discount. Evan pretended not to see Noah's shock. It's Ms. Reed's signature. No doubt about it. It all came rushing back to him. When he started his business, he was broke. It was Sarah's father who gave him his life savings as seed money. He had been so grateful, so sure of his future with Sarah, that he had put all the company shares in her father's name. When her father died, the shares naturally went to Sarah. She had the right to do whatever she wanted with the company, including firing him as CEO. This time, she was serious. Evan, clearly enjoying the drama, grabbed a package from the front desk. Mr. Archer, you're a busy man. This came from the court a few days ago. Looks like a divorce petition. Looks like Sarah is determined to be done with you. Noah stared in disbelief at the court summons. After 20 years together, he had never imagined she would actually leave him. There was something else in the envelope. He pulled it out. It was a simple, silver band. His hand trembled. He couldn't bring himself to touch it. It was the ring he had bought when he proposed to her after graduation. He had been broke back then, and it was all he could afford. He hadn't wanted to propose so soon, but a rich kid at their school had been relentlessly pursuing Sarah. He was scared of losing her. So, even though the timing wasn't right, he had proposed in public, asking her to wait 3 years for him. He had sworn he would love her forever. For their actual wedding, he had bought an expensive diamond ring, but Clara had taken it. For all these years, Sarah had worn the simple silver band. Now, she was giving it back. Seeing the divorce papers, Clara couldn't hide her glee. She's probably just bluffing, trying to get your attention. You work so hard, and all she does is cause trouble. She threw a fit 5 years ago, and she still married you, right? Clara's words were a comfort to him. 5 years ago, someone had died. But Sarah had still forgiven him, married him. This was just a small fight. It wasn't serious enough for a divorce, was it? Besides, where would she go without him? Noah's mood soured. He just wanted to go home and find Sarah. But when he got to their apartment, his fingerprint wouldn't unlock the door. He kicked the door in a panic, a wave of fear and frustration washing over him. The door opened from the inside. A strange man stood there. Can I help you? Noah's pupils contracted. Was Sarah cheating on him? Was that why she was so eager to divorce him? He pushed the man aside and stormed into the apartment. Sarah, get out here. A woman ran out of the kitchen. Who are you? If you don't leave, we're calling the police for breaking and entering. Noah was furious. I should be the one calling the police. This is my house. Who are you, and who let you in? It wasn't until the couple showed him the deed to the house that he finally understood. Sarah wasn't bluffing. She was really leaving him. She had sold the company, sold their home. No wonder she hadn't contacted him. He pulled out his phone. The last messages were from the day they visited his father's grave. The most recent call was from 2 weeks ago. What had they talked about? He racked his brain. He remembered a call from someone claiming to be from a hospital, saying Sarah had been in a serious car accident and needed surgery. He had been so angry at the time. He had told her he hoped she would die. Was the accident real? He drove to the hospital and asked about her. The doctor who had operated on her that night happened to be on duty. She looked at him with cold disdain. Yes, the patient, Sarah Reed, was in critical condition. Who are you to her? Oh, you're the one who answered the phone that night. In all my years as a doctor, I've never heard anyone wish death upon their own wife. That poor girl. She was barely conscious, and she had to sign her own surgery consent forms. Noah slapped himself across the face, a wave of regret washing over him. No wonder she was so determined to leave. He had truly broken her heart. After a long moment, he pulled out his phone. Sarah, where are you? We need to talk. He waited. Nothing. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore and called. I answered. Sarah. I cut him off. If this is about the divorce, I'll see you at the courthouse tomorrow at 8. If it's about anything else, we can wait for the hearing. Noah's voice was heavy with exhaustion. Sarah, stop this. I admit I was wrong not to come to the hospital that night. But you had been acting so erratically, I thought you were lying to me. You sold the house, sold the company. I'm not even mad about that. Just come back, and we can still be husband and wife. Even now, he thought I was just throwing a tantrum. And why wouldn't he? For 20 years, besides my father, he was the most important person in my life. He didn't know that when a person is hurt enough, their heart just goes cold. Noah, don't you love Clara? Wouldn't a divorce be the perfect opportunity for you two to be together? Noah sighed. Sarah, I knew you were still jealous. I told you, the title of Mrs. Archer will always belong to you. As for Clara, I was just trying to make up for my past mistakes. I know I went too far. I promise I'll treat you both equally from now on. You need to stop being so dramatic. I didn't have the energy to argue with someone so self-absorbed. Noah, what makes you think I can't live without you? I was with you because I loved you. Now that I don't, I want a divorce. Silence on the other end. That's not possible. How could you not love me anymore? I didn't answer. I just hung up. Evan brought me a cup of coffee he had made himself. What's wrong? Having second thoughts? If you are, I can give you the company back. I took a sip. It was bitter. No regrets. The day after my surgery, with no family to help me, I had to get up and pay the hospital bills myself. That's where I ran into Evan. He had been my classmate in college, but he and Noah had always been rivals. I thought he would gloat, but instead, he helped me back to my room. For the next 10 days, he canceled all his meetings and stayed by my side. I felt guilty, but he just looked me in the eye and said, Sarah, I missed my chance once before. This time, I don't want to have any regrets. It's no secret that I like you. I'm not trying to be a burden. I just need to do this for myself. That's right. Evan was the rich kid who had pursued me in college. Because of Noah, I had rejected him without a second thought. He hadn't bothered me after that, and I thought he had moved on. When he heard I was filing for divorce, he introduced me to the best lawyer in the city. He even orchestrated the acquisition of Archer Industries. Today, Evan was wearing a cream-colored cashmere sweater that matched my dress perfectly. I didn't call him out on it. People always say the best way to get over a broken heart is to find someone new. I wasn't being rash. I was just giving us a chance. My dad was gone. I had no one. There's no shame in relying on a man. Evan sat down next to me, his expression serious. Sarah, I can't believe I'm getting this chance. Right. Who would have thought? Noah and I, who were supposed to be inseparable, were now going our separate ways. I used to hate my younger self for her misplaced kindness. But I've come to realize that kindness is not a sin. It's the betrayal of that kindness that is unforgivable. I thought I had finally put the past behind me. But then Clara showed up. Sarah, Noah doesn't want you anymore. Why are you still clinging to him? Wasn't getting hit by a car lesson enough? I looked up at the woman in front of me, my gaze hardening. She probably hadn't received the court summons yet. Clara, aren't you afraid of the consequences? She sneered. What am I afraid of? I drove that car into you on purpose 5 years ago. I was trying to kill you, but your old man got in the way. All I had to do was cry and say I was heartbroken, and Noah got me a psychiatric evaluation, testified on my behalf, and even stayed with you to appease you. And that night, I was the one who hired someone to hit you. See? When it comes to life and death, Noah still chooses me. Why are you even still alive? Looking at her triumphant face, I couldn't help but scoff. If you're so sure Noah will choose you, then why are you here? Do you honestly think that as long as I'm still Mrs. Archer, you'll ever be anything more than a homewrecker hiding in the shadows? Oh, and by the way, hitting my dad and me? That's not over. We'll see if you can escape justice this time. I turned to leave, but Clara grabbed my hair. Bitch, who do you think you are, suing me? Go to hell. Just go to hell. A sharp pain shot through my scalp. I spun around, grabbed her by the ears, and slapped her repeatedly. Clara, do you really think I'm a pushover? She was no match for me. All she could do was scream for help. The door was kicked open, and Noah strode in. He pushed me aside and helped Clara to her feet. Sarah, that's enough. I'm the one who hurt you. If you're angry, take it out on me. Don't touch her. Clara hid behind him, a smug look on her face. Noah, I want to press charges for assault. I want her to rot in jail. Noah looked at me, his expression conflicted. Sarah, hitting her is wrong, no matter what. Just apologize to Clara, and we can put this behind us. He was about to say more, but a sharp slap cut him off. Noah, use your brain. There are security cameras in here. It's pretty clear who started it. Being slapped in public, Noah was humiliated. He raised his hand to hit me back, but Evan caught his arm and punched him in the face. The two men started brawling. Noah, don't push it. You think Sarah is alone? As they were locked in a stalemate, I grabbed a wine bottle and smashed it over Noah's head. He looked at me in disbelief. Sarah, you hit me for him? Clara's face was a mask of triumph. Noah, didn't you say Evan used to have a crush on Sarah? You don't think they've been sleeping together behind your back, do you? Noah's face went rigid with fury. Sarah, have you been cheating on me? I slapped him again. Noah, don't project your own filth onto everyone else. Keep your dog on a leash. If she comes near me again, I won't be so nice. With that, I grabbed Evan's hand and walked out. Evan had a few cuts on his face. As I was disinfecting them, he winced. It had nothing to do with you. Why did you jump in? I couldn't just stand there and watch him bully you. He looked at me, his eyes intense. Sarah, I'm so happy right now. I thought you would feel sorry for him, but you helped me instead. Does this mean you have feelings for me? I turned away, hiding my smile. Evan, I'm not even divorced yet. The court date for Clara's case arrived first. Noah was there with her, confident they would win. But when they saw the evidence I presented, Noah was stunned. The proof of Clara's intentional assault was irrefutable. She was sentenced to prison. Noah, help me. I didn't mean to. I was just so in love with you. Please, help me one more time. Noah stared at the woman in front of him. The strong, kind woman he thought he knew was gone, replaced by this ugly, hateful creature. That night, Noah came to find me. He reeked of alcohol, his eyes filled with exhaustion. Sarah, can we talk? If he agreed to the divorce, it would save me the time and effort of going to court. I opened the door and let him in. Sarah, are you okay? I nodded. I'm fine. Better than I've been in a long time. Noah was silent for a moment, then he finally spoke. Do we have to get a divorce? I didn't see Clara for who she really was. I didn't know she hit your dad on purpose, that she hired someone to hit you. I was wrong about her. But we have 20 years of history. Are you really just going to throw that all away? Looking at him, I found it almost funny. Weren't you the one who threw it away first? You cheated on me with Clara. You let her kill my dad, and almost kill me. You hid a picture of you and her behind my dad's portrait. What kind of sick, twisted mind does that? Do you know what I was thinking that night, waiting for surgery? I was thinking that if you came rushing to the hospital, I would forgive you one last time, and we could have a clean break. But you didn't. You said if I died, it was my family's bad karma, that we deserved to die out. Noah, how could you say something like that? Are you even human? The biggest mistake my family ever made was taking you in. If I could go back in time, I would never have asked my dad to let you stay. Noah's lips trembled. He choked out a few words. I'm sorry. I promise I'll never be unfaithful again. Can you just give me one more chance? I looked at him coldly. What good is I'm sorry? I gave you a chance 5 years ago. You promised my dad you would take care of me for the rest of my life. And what happened? You cheated on me again. Noah, how pathetic do you think I am? To let you betray me and trample on me over and over again? Noah dropped to his knees in front of me, slapping himself repeatedly. I'm a bastard. I'm so sorry, to you and your dad. Hit me, yell at me, do whatever you want. Just please don't leave me. I've lost my home, my company. If you leave me, I'll have nothing. I looked down at his pathetic display, feeling nothing. Noah, you were always unwanted. Your father abandoned your pregnant mother. You have betrayal and cruelty in your blood. You owe me and my father. So just sign the divorce papers and stop wasting my time. He was about to say more, but Evan walked in with a cake. Oh, the ex-husband is here. Sarah, happy birthday. I met Noah on my 10th birthday. On my 30th birthday, we were ending 20 years of love and hate. I walked over and took Evan's arm. Noah, I stopped loving you a long time ago. In the end, Noah agreed to the divorce. A year later, at my wedding to Evan, I saw Noah standing in the corner. I held Evan's arm and walked down the aisle without a backward glance. Sarah, do you take me to be your husband? I do. I still had a long life ahead of me. Why shouldn't I start over and find my own happiness?